Howdy folks, and welcome back to War Thunder with the mighty Jingles. Since I posted my bombing why it sucks and how to fix it video, which has provoked a bit of controversy, although the majority of people seem to agree with me, even if they don't necessarily agree with my suggestions on how to improve the bomber pilot's lot in life, I have discovered a method, we'll call it a method, of grinding XP on your bombers much more efficiently. And getting to the position where you can actually unlock some of the decent bomb pylons on these things and start making them useful in arcade battles. And there's nothing arcane, magic or secret about this. Play historical battles with your bombers. This tactic that I'm proposing here works especially well with bombers like the S-79 or the Ju-88. You need something fast, and it's not complicated, it's not difficult. All I'm doing, well, here we go. This is the Battle of the Bulge. It's the Germans versus the Americans. I'm in the S-79. The reason I picked the S-79 is because it gets 5 reasonably powerful bombs, and it's really fast. The Ju-88 works as well because it's very, very fast in the dive. And you get lots of enemy targets like this, nice long columns of tanks in these ground strike historical battles. Battle of the Bulge is a brilliant example of it. So there you go. Get in, drop those bombs, ground win streak times 5, get the hell out of there. Check the speed out there, over 500 kilometers per hour. Now this works in the HE-111, it works, it's better in the Ju-88 and the Sparviero S-79, purely because they are so much faster. But you can do this in your HE-111 as well. And as I said, though, I'm not doing anything amazingly special here. All I'm doing is doing bombing runs in historical battles. And when you see the scoreboard at the end, you'll see why I'm saying this is the way you go. It certainly makes sense to me anyway. Taking an unupgraded bomber into an arcade battle is just an exercise in futility. Because you don't get anything for doing what you do, and you're not very good at doing it anyway. The fighters are better at taking out, certainly at low levels, when a lot of the ground targets are just, crappy little mobile anti-aircraft guns that you only get 60 XP for killing. It's just a waste of time. Now, of course, in historical battles, there are no mid-air reloads. So once those bombs are gone, you've got to fly all the way back to base. Now, I'm picking this historical battle. Check out the score. 3rd highest. Just for dropping 1 bomb load. Although, to be completely fair, you're going to see that yeah, I do destroy the most ground targets, but I get relatively little for it compared to the guys who are shooting down aircraft, and I don't really have a problem with that. This is an air combat simulator after all. You should get more points for dogfighting with other players and killing other players than just for flying over a bunch of bots and dropping bombs on them. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. My only real problem with the game at the moment in arcade, I don't know what full real battles are like, but in arcade, bombers are just not rewarded. The job that they do is too hard with a brand new bomber, because it doesn't have the bomb load to do what it's meant to do, and it doesn't get rewarded properly for doing it, even if they do it very, very well, with the limited tools at their disposal. So this is basically just how to grind XP very quickly on a bomber in order to get those unlocks that allow you to actually do your job effectively as a bomber in an arcade battle. So I've dropped my 5 bombs. I've managed to escape. I'm coming back in for a landing. Well, that was a pretty good landing, actually. It's definitely a lot more difficult in historical battle than it is in arcade. And slow this thing down. And if you're looking at the scores at the bottom there, Battle of the Bulge, historical battle, is a ground strike battle. You win by knocking out all the ground targets. And yeah, there's me and one other guy are the only ones who were interested in actually winning the game. Everybody else is just farming air kills and running up good scores, but we're going to lose the game because of it. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Just worry about doing your job and doing it as well as you can. You know, if your team are going to derp around and lose the game for you, well, you did what you could. So there's some XP for landing. And there's some XP for taking off. Any second now. Once my landing gear goes up. There you go. So it all helps. And we're just gonna... I mean, it sounds really boring. And it is really boring, compared to dogfighting in fighter aircraft. Definitely, this is not the most thrilling and... I can't think of the right word. It's grind work, basically. No two ways about it. Where it is just grind work, but it's something you're going to need to do to get your bombers to the state where you can actually contribute effectively in arcade battles. So I'm just circling over friendly flat guns here to gain a little bit of altitude. And the S-79 is one of the best bombers in the game for doing this. If you were flying something... Oh, the Wellington. Oh. Something like the Wellington or the Japanese H6s, they would be absolutely fine at the dropping your bombs on the initial target, but getting back up in the air, those things are so slow, especially with a full bomb load. Aircraft like this S-79 and the Ju-88, this sort of thing is they're so good at it. So I'm just going to skip ahead here. I'm going to sit here making you watch me fly all the way back to the target area again. So we've gained some altitude, and we've done that for two reasons. There's low cloud cover in the Battle of the Bulge, so we're shielding our approach from enemy fighters. And we can turn that altitude into speed. That allows us to get out safely. See some enemy fighters down below. I don't know if I've been spotted, but don't make it easy for them to come after you. Remember, this isn't arcade battles where aircraft climb like rockets. It is a bit more of a struggle for them to come up and meet you when you're at altitude. And get those bombs away. Oh, that wasn't as good a drop as my first one. Turn back to base, put yourself in a shallow dive, give your throttle some welly, get out of there. An aircraft like this, the Ju-88, this is why I recommend those two, rather than, well, not rather than any other bomber, but the S-79 and the Ju-88 are very, very, very fast, especially in the dive. And it just increases your survivability and the potential for grinding XP by doing this. And let's face it, that's exactly what this is. It's just a grind. And there we go. Yeah. Nobody else on the team, other than one other guy, were interested in shooting at ground targets. And so we lost. But it ain't going to matter now. So initially you look at the scores and you think, oh, what a waste of time. 8 ground kills and I get almost half the XP of a guy with 1 air kill. Well, forget it. This isn't the important part, right? You're not doing this to compete for, to look good on the high score table at the end of the game. You're doing this to grind XP as efficiently as you possibly can so that you can get the unlocks that you need to make the bomber actually capable of doing anything in an arcade battle. So we bomber rewards straight away. An extra 2,000 XP, which isn't reflected in these scores at the end of the game. So don't dwell too much on this. I mean, you can see that basically our team were absolutely bloody useless. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not competing with the rest of the team. You're trying to get as much XP out of that game as you possibly can. And if we go to the next screen, you'll see what I mean. Now, credits earned, absolute garbage. Right? That's absolutely hopeless. You will, if you lose your bomber, you will run a loss doing this. But look at the XP. Nearly 17,000 experience earned for dropping 10 bombs. And that's why you do this. You will never, ever earn that kind of experience for doing what I just did there in an arcade battle. It just doesn't happen. Forget it. Just no way. That is a massive chunk of XP. I've flown entire battles in arcade with multiple bombers and not got that much XP for doing more. And that was only 8 ground kills. That wasn't a lot. If I'd survived long enough to make a third run, that could have been a 25, maybe even a 30,000 XP game. My second bombing run, I think I only killed 1 target. My bombs were poorly aimed. So if you can do well, and I didn't do well, I only killed 8 ground targets in 2 bomb runs. That just gives you a taste of how fast you can level up these bombers by playing historical battles. And as I said, certain bombers are better at it than others. You need something fast. Something that can build up a lot of speed in the dive and maintain that speed. Ju-88, S-79, best examples, but you can do it with all the bombers that you have. It's just so much more efficient for grinding XP in historical battles than it is in arcade, and it's a lot less frustrating as well. And if we have a look at the weapon customization screen for my Sparviero, you'll see that I'm a hair's breadth. I mean, that's in a historical battle, that's 2 medium tank kills away from getting the polished fuselage to reduce the air resistance and make this thing even faster, and also unlocking the torpedo torpedo pylons. So my recommendation, if you are struggling and hating your bombers in arcade battles, get yourself into historical battles. Do 2 historical battles a day in a bomber, and you're going to be looking at, with a premium account, you're looking at 30, 35, 40,000 XP, which is going to go towards getting these pylons unlocked and making these bloody awful aircraft halfway reasonable in arcade battles. So that's my tip of the day for bomber pilots who are finding it really frustrating at the moment. Get yourself into historical battles, get some of those games played, and profit. As always, watch your 6, guys, and I'll catch you next time.